So, I don't know what it is, if it's the weather. I've been having allergies, being off for 2 weeks and kind of being in a different headspace. But I'm feeling a little silly today, honestly. Maybe it's ADHD. I don't know. What's up, everybody? Happy to be back. Who was first today? Martin Crockett. Absent, number 2. Save Techno. John H. Kingston III from Rockaway Park, New York. Zeisler Music from Denmark. Welcome. Peter Paws. Happy Techno Saturday. One of my favorite screen names here, Rudy's Giuliani freestyle video, or is it supposed to be Rudy Giuliani's freestyle video? I want to see that if it exists, and if it doesn't, let's make one. What's up, Live Society? Luminous Cloud. Professor Zoid in the house. Yeah, that's more. I have my Zoid hat on when we do electro. Speaking of. Well, we'll tell you more about that. But yeah, Zoid-related news. Where was I? Will Joseph, what's up? Max Wild, fearless leader here at 343. Nice to have you in the chat. And Simple Sam. Is that everybody? Should we get going? Oh, hi, Hank. All right, now I think that's everybody. Welcome. It's Techno Saturday. I'm John Selway. This is 343 TV, brought to you by 343 Labs. And I'm a music production instructor. I think most of you know that by now, but any of you new guys, yes. In addition to doing these streams twice a week, you know, Abe was yesterday, Tetro was on Tuesday with the sample challenge, and I'm today. We're all, well, Abe and I anyway, are music production instructors. I do synthesis and sound design as well for 343 Labs and now 343 Studio. And I don't know, we've had a little break for a couple of weeks, Easter holidays and so on and so forth, a little bit of traveling with the family, which was nice. And yeah, now we're getting back into the swing of things, and you know, some classes starting up, and 343 Studio feedback sessions and mentorship sessions and collab workshops, which I'm doing this week, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Max. You know the schedule better than I do, apparently. And yeah, happy to be back and to hang out with you guys. So, Live Society, music productionist. Yes, I'm a music productionist. That is what I do. Today, though, how much of it is music? Well, okay, it's all music. I have a very, wide view of what constitutes as music, but I'll be honest. Last couple of weeks, my brain's been elsewhere. I've really not been thinking about music too much. And this week, I was thinking about, what am I going to do today? What am I inspired by? And I don't know. I have some things on my plate that I'm getting ready to work on. I mean, Christian Smith and I did a couple of new tracks, and we need to go back and fix those a little bit. And that's very much in a particular style. It's kind of big room, little kind of musical crossover techno, right? Which we've done before, and it's fun to do. And, we have a system, and it comes together quickly. He gets to, try those tracks out on the dance floor, and then he'll come back and say, hey, we need to tweak this or add that. So we've talked about that before. So that's one thing that I was thinking about doing, but in the end, I decided to schedule a time with Christian. So I don't know, maybe he'll come on again, and we can do another session with Christian. That's in the works. I've been reaching out to different people to guest on the show. Last time we had Anthony Rother, which was an amazing thing. By the way, I think it was just his birthday, so everybody wish one of the kings of electro, our friend Anthony Rother, a happy birthday. So yeah, I'm thinking about other people to come back on the show as guests. Maybe Anthony will come back one day. That would be nice. And then just sort of musically, where my head has been at lately, has been more in the electro vein, sort of on my own. Like I've been a little bit more inspired to make electro tracks. So definitely that's going to be coming back. But what totally threw me off the rails today was I just happened to be looking through some promo emails, and where is that? So I got a kick out of this, literally. So this is a re-release of a very classic kind of hardcore techno record from the 90s by Mark Acardipane. Maybe some of you know it. Hitchhiker, anybody know this? It's okay if you don't. So this record is amazing. Originally, all it is a 909 kick drum with distortion and effects. That's it. It's amazing how much power and energy and dance floor, utility that this track has with one instrument, right? And so I'm going to put it on here. We can talk over this kick drum. It's amazing. I mean, it's one of my favorite hardcore techno tracks. I mean, it's as minimal as you can get, but it's so much power. That's right. Simple Sam mentions Mark Acardipane is also known as, Anthony. Happy birthday, Anthony. Simple Sam says, I know him as PCP, Planet Core Productions. That's right. And yes, thank you, Max. Yes, John, you're doing collab workshop on Tuesday. I'm telling you, it's the ADHD. It's like, woo, my brain. Listen to this. It's ridiculous. Just the essence of hardcore techno. Like, you don't need anything else, hardly. You need a 909 kick drum and distortion, which is, and it's just my mood today. There are other days where I might have listened to this and I would be like, oh my God, turn that off. But today, whatever space my brain is in, whatever mode I'm in right now, I'm having fun with this. This is getting me going today. So I thought we would just have a little fun and see, how did he do this? Like, what is making it sound like that? Distortion, EQ, filtering, delay, reverb. I think that's it. So it's like normal kick drum, and then all of a sudden it just breaks up and gets insane. How does he make it sound like that? So it's more resonant. Got to be more resonance in the filter, boosting some frequency. Right, does anybody know? I don't know how to do the Gabbard dance. I love it. Rudy's Giuliani freestyle video says, it's beautiful. All right, let me just pause that for a second. Yeah, it's amazing. Now, the other thing that sort of tickled me about this today was remixes. How do you remix this? All you can do is, I mean, this has got to be hard to do a good remix of. I listened through the remixes a little bit. I don't want to play too much of these because, like, this isn't even released yet, But, so Mark himself did a remix, and I listened to it. I'm not going to play this one, but it's pretty much just like a new track. It does, and there's a little bit of he's tweaking the kick drum around, but I like it. He's a very good hardcore techno producer, one of the best. And then Perk, amazing hard techno producer. I mean, I think this is released on, what label is this released on? Well, anyway, I should have paid attention to that. But, right, the Perk remix is also good. But again, it's like, it's a new track that has a little bit, the one, I'm going to play a little bit of this one. This one I thought was the best new mix and sort of captured the original vibe of just the kick drum while also adding new stuff. So this was the one that I thought was really cool. So I'm gonna play a little bit of that. It's slower for one, so maybe accessible to a wider audience because it's not like nosebleed tempo. Right, so Simple Sam says, you don't remix, what's the point? And that was my first thought, was what is the point of remixing a track made from one kick drum? But these guys did it right. They did cool edits, cool effects. They didn't add too much. I love that long reverse reverb on the growly kick that comes out. I want to just listen to this, man. It's making it more trippy and hypnotic, slow like this. Right, adding some percussion. Let's jump in a little bit. Still featuring the kick drum. I think that's the trick. Feature that amazing distorted kick with all the modulation. Oh my god. Wake up! It's Saturday. Okay. Big break at the end. You gotta have the big break nowadays, right? That's something the original doesn't have. Wait, rewind. I want to hear how it gets into that. Yeah. These guys know what they're doing. Just imagine, yeah, this is at a big warehouse. Everybody's hands are up. Huge. It is definitely raw noise set. Hear that? Speaking of noise, raw noise says it's gabber time. Oh, and now Simple Sam says this is headache tempo, bring back the gabber. All right, so you like it faster. Okay. Anyway, let's just rest our ears for a moment because I'm about to brutalize them again when I do my version of this. I know I know some of you out there are probably like, "Oh my god, I can't take this. It's just too much." Be honest with me. Like if you're like, "I can't take the hardcore." That's okay. It's just today. It's just for another 45 minutes. If I lost you, that's all right. But those of you who can hang, we're going to have a little fun playing around with some distortion and see where it takes us. All right. Luminous Cloud. Oh, that's good. Luminous Cloud. Where's Lenny D when you need him? I know exactly where he is, and I've already invited him to be a guest on the show. There have been various issues that have gotten away, like traveling, touring, work schedule, and then he had his house had a flood in his basement. It was in the studio and there was damage, and so like he's just been, sorry, I can't do it, man, not yet. So he's on the list. I would love, this. I guess this is just like a little teaser for future hardcore episodes with Lenny D, because I definitely want him to come on. He's a lot of fun. He knows a lot, and I learned a lot from him early on in the 90s, with running when he was doing Industrial Strength. Oliver Chesler and I, we didn't put out our first record with Industrial Strength, but a number of our records came out on Industrial Strength, and we had good luck with that stuff. So formative years. So definitely have some respect for Lenny, and he should absolutely be on the show. Hopefully sometime this year. All right. Now, let's get over to Ableton Live and make some of our own noise. All I've got, this is just the stock 909 preset instrument from Live's library. All right. And one of the things about, what makes, the track that we're kind of knocking off here, what it makes it work is, all right, so I think Mark Acardipane is doing it starts and the kick is low and he fades it up and it gets more and more distorted. So he's got that clean 909 in the mixer going, and he's bringing the gain up. And I'm pretty sure he's clipping on a mixing board and he may be running it through subsequent distortion after the fact. And I don't have a real 909 here, but another part of it is playing with the shape and sound of the kick drum itself, like getting it tuned and kind of adjusted the right way. And Live's instrument, you can see the 909 is a multi-sampled instrument. Let's turn that into a sampler. And yeah, these are all different variations on 909 kick drums. And when you play it at different velocities, you're playing different versions of the 909. So we can play around with that to get some variation out of the sound as it goes into this distortion chain that I've got. Rudy's Giuliani freestyle video wants to be taught how to sound like Regis. That's for another day. Very particular, specific. I'm not even sure I know exactly how to do that. Like, I'll have to try. That's a challenge. All right, so back onto this kick. Is that fast enough? About 150. I know it's not loud right now. It's going to get louder. Actually, you can't even hear it yet, can you? Let's fix that. I hear it, you don't hear it, but now you're about to hear it. Ready? There we go. All right. All right, so there's that. I'll turn it up a little bit. And depending on the velocity, we're hearing different samples in the 909. So we're hearing different variations. So that's more of, more click with the boom behind it. And then as I increase the velocity, we're getting more of that punch, which is pretty much what you want. And then we also have, what's the tone doing? I think that's just EQ. But it sounds a little deeper bass here down here, so let's keep that. And then there's also, a decay knob in the original 909. So that's another thing we can play with. We might want short, tight ones or occasionally big, boomy ones. I don't have the camera set up overhead, but I do have a MIDI controller here, so I'm going to start mapping stuff to play with. All right, there's the decay. And what I want to do is, let's put in a velocity MIDI effect. Is that working? That's what we want. All right. So now I can have a knob controlling the velocity in real time, so I can switch between those different kick drum samples a little more easily. I don't have to go into the MIDI clip. All right, there's that. I want to be able to tweak this and play with it. All right. All right, so we got that. And then maybe also we should do volume going in. So I can go in and drive that. Distortion. Okay, so now let's start getting into the special sauce. Save Techno is asking, do you use speakers? How do you make sure the microphone doesn't capture the sound? Well, it does a little, but I have the microphone processed with a gate and also the position of the mic relative to the speakers. It's facing away from it, so the mic doesn't pick up much behind it. And then also, even if it does, like I have the volume up, not very loud, but if I turn it up, you might hear it a little bit, but there's no echo, there's no delay, because the audio out of live and the microphone are both going in at exactly the same time into the mixer, so there's no processing echo or delay in between when I speak, right? So yeah, the way it's set up, I can use speakers and it sounds okay for you guys too. I can't crank it crazy, but the mic is not coming out of the speakers. There's no feedback loop either. All right, enough about my streaming setup, but that was a very good question. Let's start making this sound a little bit more intense. So back in the day, we would use like the parametric sort of sweeping EQs on the mixer as like a filter effect. So I've got an EQ8 on here. I'm doing some resonance here to bump up the lows a little bit, and then I could just use a resonant kind of curve here to emphasize different mid frequencies. Now let's blow the heck out of this thing, and I'm running through the amp effect. Whoa! Let's turn that down a little bit. Sorry if I blew anybody's ears out. There we go. Now we're talking. Did that hurt? Did that hurt you? Were you wearing headphones? I'm so sorry. Let's hear what this sounds like. So yeah, depending on how I drive this thing, let's bring the output volume down a little bit. There we go. Right, so I'm just playing around with the EQ going into the amp distortion. Of course, there's also tone controls on the amp. I like that sound a lot. All right, we have the gain here that I can also play with. The tone controls on the amp. The presence is really cool. It adds that like high frequency kind of sizzle on top. All right, and that's just the one model in here. You could try blues. All right, that's not as dirty, is it? It's more clean and bright. Boost is all right. Rock is really good. It's really thick. Lead is more like buzzy. But it's all potentially cool, especially when you play around with the resonance going into it. This needs a knob, right? Let's go back to rock. Yeah, it's powerful. All right. So MIDI, frequency, and probably Q as well. Definitely gonna play with that. All right. I think this one I also want. Come back to that one. It is so crazy loud to listen to this over and over again. We have to take breaks. How's everybody's ears? How's everybody's minds? I told you I was feeling a little crazy today. And this is what happened. I'm just like, zoning in on this intense sound. And it's like, it's very pleasing to my attention deficit. Like it just grabs my brain and locks it in. So I don't know. Uh, Simple Sam, you always come out with these funny comments. I think Pavel K2 in his car drove off the road from that sound. I hope you're safe. I hope you're all right. Okay. Everybody drive carefully. And yeah, Polyitis, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Mid-range sweeps on a hardware mixing desk and blasted into the red? Absolutely. So that's what I'm kind of simulating here, since I'm not using a console. Is I'm doing, gain into distortion into, just blasting it. So totally overdoing it. In fact, I also have this. I really like the sound of having the mids crunched up with the overdrive. And here I've got dry wet. So I can kind of mix in what this overdrive is doing to the mids there. It's giving it that like ripping kind of effect. You can get some subtlety out of that. I really like that too. It sounds great when I high pass and boost the resonance. It sounds like I added like layers of a synth on top of it or something. Okay. And we even have another one, which is actually just kind of controlling everything. But if I wanted to, we could blast this even further. What happens? Okay. Maybe a little bit much. How are we doing for time? Wow, I can't believe we killed like 15, 20 minutes, about 15 minutes of nothing of kick drum. Let's take a breather. Let's step back. Let's check in and see how everybody's doing. So, I told you, I warned you at the beginning, sensitive listeners may not be able to handle it. It does, as I'm sitting here listening to this over and over again, I'm thinking like, how would I respond to this as a listener? So I respect for those of you who are hanging in there and keeping up. As ever, I have to remind everyone this is 343 TV, brought to you by 343 Labs, music production school in New York City and Berlin. We also have our online hub, 343 Studio. As Max mentioned earlier in the chat, yes, I've got a collab session this week and the following week, where people who join up to 343 Studio get together. We give you a catalyst, an idea to start with, just to focus on and work out how you do your collaboration. And I know at least a couple of you here in the chat have participated, and it's been fun. I think it's a really good skill to practice, to learn how to work and produce and create music with other people. So many of us are kind of on our own in our studios with our computer and our headphones, and it really changes things, and I think can speed up the learning process a lot. You can learn a lot by working with other people. So, maybe think about joining 343 Studio and checking that out. And of course, we also have our mentorship and feedback sessions. I really enjoy doing those things, getting some one-on-one time with people, listening to your music, answering your questions. It's like mini private lessons. And the feedback sessions, it's a bit more just focused on a specific track you're maybe trying to finish or you're trying to go forward with. And then the mentorship sessions tend to be kind of a wider net about, it doesn't have to be specific to one piece of music, or it can be kind of more general about music production, about any question related to making your music or music business or anything. So, kind of just giving you some guidance. So, and there's a lot of different instructors. We've actually added more different instructors and resident artists to 343 Studio recently. So, doesn't matter what kind of music you're into, there's going to be someone in there that can kind of click with you and understand what you're trying to achieve and help you out. So definitely check that out. Links are below in the description. And of course, we have our courses starting up all the time, our full courses, both in person and online in New York City and Berlin. So definitely check out what we have on offer, see what's coming up. And if you haven't already, join our Discord. A lot of action going on in there. Keeping up connections with like-minded producers and finding out what's going on with events and things like that at 343. All right. Let's check in on the chat. T.I. Fred Torres, welcome, says, don't worry about the noise. We are professionals. Yes, you can handle it. Just next time I won't turn the distortion on without turning the volume down first. I just didn't want to hurt anybody's ears all of a sudden. And let's see. Simple Sam says about the kick drum, the distortion processing we're doing today could also be interesting to make it multi-band with an effect rack and make layers. Absolutely. I was already thinking about that. Like, what will happen is, as you add more and more distortion and it gets brighter, especially when you're boosting all these resonant frequencies and it's getting more of that growl or that sharp kind of, it's less bass now. We're hearing less low end. So splitting it multi-band gives you more control over the low end and the mids and the highs, kind of that balance. So you could do sort of crazy tweaking with the distortion and the filters and everything, but then keep the rumble underneath, keep the sub. That said, Mark Arcardapane didn't do multi-band, so somehow he got it just right. Like, yeah, he's bringing the bass in and out, but when the bass comes back in, it's full on. It's just how it should be. And let's see. Oh, giveaways. Luminous Cloud is asking about giveaways. I don't know about previous giveaways, although I should say for a little while, we're taking a small break from giveaways on the live streams. That's the official word passed down from on high here at 343. So I imagine the giveaways will come back in some shape or form in the future. But for right now, just, come hang out. Come hang out with me. Come hang out with Abe and with Tetra on Tuesdays. Let us be your prize, your reward. I'm just kidding. Just come hang out. We like hanging out with you. And let's see. Simple Sam's still talking about, I think it sounds nice. Those modern hardstyle kicks are what I can't really hear for longer times. I see what you mean. Yeah, like there are some hardcore kick drums that are just so even more intense than this. And they're kind of short and spiky and they're like, and I know what you mean. I like the hardcore kicks that have the groovy rumble underneath. There's a fine line between just like too much of the same aggression over and over and over again. And that's another thing about this original Mark Arcardapane track is that it's not the same kick drum the whole time. The kick drum is changing. It's like sometimes it's deep and round, sometimes it's sharp and bright, and it's all going, and that's what makes the whole track, is how that sound evolves. And it's actually on its own, like as a, emulating this, and like it's a good learning exercise, I think. Like even if you don't make hardcore, just thinking about how do I make one drum sound groove and do something interesting over a few minutes and use that as an element inside of a track that has more going on, right? It's not just about that one sound. Cool. So, all right. Luminous Cloud again. You're waiting for the prize. I see. I don't know if Thomas is here in the chat or Max Wild or someone else from 343 that can find out what's going on. Definitely. Someone will hit you up about this, or we'll check into that for you, all right? If you're still waiting. So sorry about that. And we'll make good since, you're a winner and you deserve your prize. Good. So now that I have this kick drum, let's see what we can add to it. I'm just going to build up some other sounds and see where it goes and maybe play with some automation and arrange things a little bit. All right, so let's head back over into the studio here. And all right, where are we? Some weird little noises, little creaky noises going on in there. So I'm just playing around with the MIDI that I have set up here. Oh, you know what we're missing? There's another thing. There's another element to this. And that is the effects. Other than the distortion, we have, let's see. A little bit of reverb going on. And I've got the pre-delay set up. So it's adding that little rhythm in between. And then I've got a little bit of delay going on. What? Did you hear it break? A lot rougher and dirtier than... All right, that is way too loud. I'm sorry. This is a lot rougher and dirtier than... potentially than the original that we're ripping off here. Especially when I blow out that resonance. Gotta be careful with that. I'm just practicing right now with the MIDI controller, seeing like how I might record this. That was cool. Ready? All right, that was too much. Let's get some percussion. I'm sorry. Got some new toys to play with. I got this thing. I got the recursion effect. This is OBS plugin that I decided to throw on today because, man, I told you, it's one of those days. I'm being silly. All right, so enough of that. Let's see what let's tone this back a little bit. All right. Hi-hats, 909 hi-hats, some kind of hi-hats. Although, I don't know, I feel like going with the all 909 thing makes it more old school. And if we look for other sounds, it'll sound a little bit more modern. I don't know. I love just the straight up 909 open hi-hat. So let's just start with that, just so I have something else to listen to besides this kick drum. And let's see. All right, maybe we'll just do the whole kit. We've got the kick drum separately. Now I've got all the other sounds. I used to like, there's this kind of hi-hat, open hi-hat on the kick drum thing. I think this is another marker cardipane idea. All right. That kick, that clap. Clap is too thin, right? All right, so the clap needs distortion too. What should we do? Saturator, overdrive, overdrive. And then a saturator. I'm just going to use the saturator as a clipper just so it doesn't get too peaky. I think I even want to EQ into this. I mean, a lot of the sound is like kind of driving into the distortion. Sounds great with some delay on it. Let's punch up that hi-hat too. There it is. I'm gonna add some more hi-hats on another clip. Too loud. Let's do some velocity. Oh, come on. Shift, select, that's what I meant to do. I like the hardcore grooves that have a little bit of syncopation in them. Like, yeah, it's got that oppressive kick drum, but, you know, the claps and the in-between kind of stuff, that helps a lot. Let's see. Gotta make a... Let's see how it sounds with just the upbeat hi-hats instead. We could switch back and forth between them. And I think someone mentioned ride cymbals. All right, those are too quiet now. You know what this is reminding me of? It's the mover. Is it Frontal Sickness or is it the other one? Maybe you guys remember the name of that track. It's a little slower and has the big, heavy, low bass line underneath it. Right. I'm not going to go that direction. It's a little more droney, dirgy, heavy, classic hardcore tune. One of the best original hardcore tunes. What time is it? 1:47. I'm feeling it. Like, this energy is like, you know, my heart's beating faster and I'm like, it's making time feel, I actually feel like time is slowed down relative to my focus on this beat right now. 909 rides in eighth notes. You really, all right. I definitely can see the 909 rides, but I think Rudy Giuliani freestyle video says 16th note clave. Really? I was watching, you guys know Lag? I was watching his stream yesterday, and he was looking for percussion sound, and I was like, how about a clave? How about claves? It's actually not clave, it's claves, right? Because there's two sticks, two wooden sticks. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put claves in here. Rim shots, definitely. 909 rides. Let's add those things to our beat. I guess that's what we're finishing with. We started with this, Mark Arcardapane style, tweaking the kick up and down, and now I'm adding the percussion to go on top of it. We'll see where it goes after today. So we've just got our kind of old school. It is a little bit old school sounding, but I'm old school. I'm allowed. Let's get in some of the other elements here. And just one last little thing I'll mention here with the hi-hat is the velocities are alternating. So like the first one's lower and then the second one's higher. So it kind of has this wavy up and down feeling. Let's add some ride cymbals to that. I can barely hear him in there. Let's see. That works. Now, all right, there's no clave. Oh no, in the 909, but there are rim shots. And again, I want to add syncopation to this, so it's not way too straight. It's it's that kick drum is so straight. So for me, it works better when it's got a little groove in it. Barely hear that. Rim shots are hard to mix sometimes, but let's do it. Let's saturate it. Let's make it dirty. Panning them a little bit so it spreads it out. Playing with the filters on the kick drum again. Oh my God. Wait, you know what? I missed my cue. Woo! Okay. We're getting there. This is fun. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to keep it simple. Maybe, I know there were some suggestions in the chat for like vocal samples and stuff. That's another kind of classic PCP, Mark Arcardapane move, to use these old hip hop vocals and everything. I don't want to bite too much here, but yes. We need to figure, it needs some kind of hooky element. I mean, all right. In Pitch Hiker, there is no hook. It's just a kick. The kick is the thing, right? But as an inspiration, I've got that for the processing on the kick, and now I'm adding the other 909 drums to give it a little bit more groove so I can develop it. It needs now some kind of synth element or vocal sample or something. I don't want it to go, honestly, I don't want this to go too much into Gabber 1990s. Like, I want to lean towards more techno. So I'm going to think about it. Maybe we'll bring this back on another day and look at how to keep this more like hardcore / hard techno rather than Gabber specifically. Just kind of make a fusion of those things. All right. But for now, all right, as promised, I've got to try to find a clave that fits, because I think it's a little ridiculous to have a dinky little high frequency percussion on top of all this heavy madness, but maybe it'll work. Let's see. Let's see what we can find in in the claves. Okay, that's not what I want. I need to go into these samples. You may not hear these. Let's make it so you guys can hear the... I kind of like this one with a little bit of reverb on it. It's not 909 at all, obviously, so that's good. How do we incorporate this light little clave into this brutal destruction? Like this? This is going to be so annoying. Okay. It's intense. It's even just more intense. I'm not sure about that one, but it could work. It could work. Well, Rudy's happy. Rudy's Giuliani freestyle video is happy about the clave. Man, we got silly today. We did. We got totally silly today. We started out, let's just go back to our reference, our classic Mark Arcardapane inspiration. How much you can do just with one. Oh, this is even faster. Also, his delays are not as in sync as mine. It's got this kind of rattly element to it. Sounds like there's a flanger in there too. I didn't notice that. I didn't earlier. He's bringing up the volume. All right, his is better. His is so much better. I can't even. My kick drum is like, it's like 80% of the 100 that this kick drum is. I mean, also this is like mixed and mastered, and it's like punched up even more. Like, I could get closer. I think I can get closer. So we started with that as an inspiration. This is a fun re-release of this track, and I like this one remix. This Ghost in the Machine remix is great. The other ones are good too, but I really like the slower kind of one that keeps the vibe of the original a bit better. And then, yeah, we started with that as an inspiration. Build up this crazy hardcore beat. I'm still like not completely sold on the clave, but like maybe this needs distortion too. I don't know. Let's throw in like what happens when you distort high frequency sounds is they get really, really harsh. That's going to tweak your ears a little bit. What if we use some kind of crazy effect on it? Or even something simple, but I don't know. Can I? Even just that. Ow. That is tweaking my ears now. Let's make it lower. All right, that's enough. I have had it. I have had it. Thanks so much to everybody for hanging out with me today and going on my little like crazy hardcore trip. It was fun. And I don't know, like I said, it was just matching my mood today. So hope you enjoyed the ride, and I will be back next week. I'm going to say it now. Let's do some electro next week. For those of you who are maybe a little disappointed by the hardcore banging today, we'll get back to some electro next time. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be working on bringing in more guests to be on the show, both in the electro and the techno world. And actually, some even do both, right? We're going to be, because I do both, and I love mixing the two together. It's like chocolate and peanut butter. So thanks to everybody in the chat today. Some new faces and names today. Well, new names today. Let's see. Polyitis or Professor Quack, Cedron. Those are some new names. PK, Afritech. I love it. After this, straight to the studio, amped. That's exactly what I hope to hear. You guys go out there, those of you who are making music, producing your own stuff, get in there and make it happen. That's it for today. Goodbye from me and 343 TV. See you next time. Adios.